Hi, everyone. You know, in this day and age where it is critical for people to have an online presence, if you are scared of being on camera or just don't like the way you are on camera, it can be a problem. And everybody is an expert in this day and age of YouTube, and some people have credibility, and some people just like to talk and are very good at it. I'd like to hope I can bring you both in the form of at least what we're going to be talking about now. 2 Emmys while working in television for 18 years in Miami and St. Louis, and a bunch of other awards that I'm not even going to bore you with, except maybe this one from the National Press Club Award. And you can see I have my nice little light on to make you pop, which is one of the tips that I'm definitely going to suggest for you when you're trying to put it all together. How do I present myself on camera? What is my message? And this is the topic of this is online camera confidence, because it's very different when you're just talking to somebody, although it shouldn't be. It should be just like a normal conversation, just sort of pretending that somebody's eyes are looking back at you, like you're just talking to somebody. The more natural you are, the more effective you're going to be. But using all your skills, obviously credibility. I'm a runner and have been for 40 years, almost as long as I've been vegan, and 226 5K or longer age group awards to show for it, along with some national awards for sprinting. So the point being is you have to find your passion, and when you connect to that, you don't need any notes. It comes from the heart, and that's really what is crucial to finding your message and presenting it in a way that is effective on camera. And it gives you a lot of confidence when you can tap into that. So I offer to you now the 10 commandments of online camera confidence. Rule number 1, be open and cooperative. And once you master this sincerity, you will be believable and you'll have it made. Rule number 2, personalize your cause or your organization. Tell stories. That's always a way that taps people into the heart of your cause, your mission, and developing this sense of passion that you have, and letting that shine is really critical. If you get a request for an interview, respond quickly. Don't drag your feet. Don't worry about how you sound, at least too much. I mean, certainly you can practice it and rehearse and write out 3 bullet points, 3 kind of cliff notes that maybe if you need to refer back to, you can look down, because that kind of, we naturally in our culture tend to look down. If we look up, we kind of are looking for excuses. They've even done police profiles. If you look off to the right, that means you stole something. If you look off to the left, it means you did another crime. I mean, you know, the cops have this all down to a science. Whether that really is true for you, I have no idea, but just keep eye contact. It's like when you're talking to a person. If you are not comfortable, you know, you kind of squirm and move around and do the dance kind of thing. Don't do that. And by the way, just one more thing I wanted to add, because all of this kind of comes back to me. When I left television, I helped write a book about media consulting. It was one of the first books that was out there, and I did media consulting with my partner all over the world. And the biggest fear people have is being misquoted and being taken out of context. And it's really so easy if you kind of craft what you're going to say, remember what you're going to say, develop that 10-second soundbite, which we always helped people do, and never vary from that. You know, you can always bridge back, as politicians do, to the message that you have. All right, so when you are asked for your opinion, come up with one. You know, certainly don't say no comment, and it's perfectly okay. This is kind of the balancing act that we all do, to say, I don't know, but I'll find out for you. Because if you do say something that is incorrect, then of course that affects your credibility. But knowing when to say, I don't know, it's okay. So if you do make a mistake, it's okay to say, I'm sorry. And if you have bad news to share, dump it all at once and be on your way. Don't dwell on it. we also think that it's important to set yourself up in a place of credibility that sets you apart. I will never forget that as a real estate agent, the first time I did an interview with somebody with this in the background, this guy is going like, I don't know any real estate agents or realtors around the country that have a background like that have done this much racing and running. And these are not just finishers medals, these are age group awards. So there's a difference. That means I placed in the top 3 in my 5-year age group, sometimes 10-year age group, to get one of these guys. So just look for that part of you that makes you you and unique. Setting up the camera and the microphone and the technology in a way that will make you really make you shine. And by the way, I haven't been keeping track of all these numbers here, but I'm on commandment number 7. These are the 10 commandments of online camera confidence. So how is that going? What's that going to look like? Well, you know, the camera phone, and I'm just shooting this off my little iPhone, the sound now in the most updated iPhones are incredible, as is the camera quality, the pixels. But I still, as you might be able to see here, am using a corded microphone because to me it has the best sound without being in a studio. But it's very clear, it's very sharp, and if you're not able to watch the video, but somebody is listening to it, it's really important to have good audio quality as well. And other things that are important just cosmetically, you know, do you have to put on makeup? No, you do not. Do you want to put on lip gloss? Maybe, if it doesn't drool down your lips. But, you know, coming across as authentic, that's part of the sincerity that I talk about. So, you know, you don't want to be too overdone. Now, just keep in mind, like if you wear glasses, look what happens. You've got some reflection going on. And the only problem with that is you might need your glasses to see. And yes, that is an issue. But it distracts from the message. And if you are really trying to get that message across, the least distractions you can have, maybe this kind of a background doesn't make sense for you. You know, you got some reflection going on over there. You know, you want to make sure that the message is focused on you. All right, some other things that are really, really important. As you see, I am standing up. Why am I doing that? Not that I'm going to be breaking out into a run anytime soon, but we talk with our hands. Most cultures do. And when you're standing up, you can get that kind of central energy coming. I'm really over-exaggerating here, but we do. We speak with our hands. And even if we kept our hands down by our sides, we still want to communicate through our faces. And when we use our hands, it allows our face to really shine through. When I did media consulting, often, you know, a television interview will be just about a talking head, which is about this size. So people would say, well, what does it matter if you use your hands? Because they're not going to show up anyway. That's true, but it really does show up in your facial expressions. And if you're all pent up and scared like this, you know, your face is going to look like a deer in headlights. So we don't want that. All right, so how do we get to Carnegie Hall? Said my daughter, who played the piano in Carnegie Hall 3 times, starting at the age of 7. Practice, practice, practice. There is no substitute for practicing. So you do it in front of a mirror if you want. You do it on camera and play it back and watch yourself. And even after you do your live presentation or whatever it is you're doing, watch the replay. Now with these wonderful phones, it's very easy to have a recording or watch it on YouTube, wherever it lands up, and learn from that. If you look back at some of the most well-known, subscribed YouTubers and YouTube channels, you're going to see that when these folks first started, it was a rocky road. It was a little weird and a little strange. And so that's just normal. It's a rough start for everybody, but just forget about what you look like. You can't change that so much. Just get out there and do it. It's all about consistency. You hear that all over YouTube. And then it's important to develop contacts with people who can support you. They like your stuff, you like their stuff, you share it together on different channels, different pages. It's all about, I'll scratch your back if you scratch mine. That's how it works. But most importantly, do your thing. And don't worry too much about the competition. Sure, it's good to watch others to get some ideas and some inspiration, but don't feel like you've got to be locked into that and just, keeping track of what everybody else is doing, because it's just too overwhelming. And this stuff, it's already addictive enough anyway, right? So you just have to do your thing. One of the things, just in closing, I look back, I wrote my first book. I wrote it in 2011, Eat Vegan on $4 a Day. And yet I had started percolating that idea like a whole decade before, when I worked at Smith Barney as a financial consultant, and I'm really getting passionate about, like, God, we got to show people how easy it is to eat healthfully. And I will never forget, I say in my introduction to that book, the Twinkies made me do it. There was a woman who was standing in a grocery store shopping line, and she goes to me, you just can't eat healthy on a budget. And I looked in her shopping cart, and it was just loaded with Twinkies and chips and stuff that was so unhealthy. And it's not only the cost of the food, but the cost of the diseases that happen when you don't eat healthfully. So I started crunching the numbers back in 2008, started my YouTube channel about 10 years ago. Some people advised me at the time that I should really, because there are only so many minutes in a day, right, that I should put more of my efforts into Facebook. And as we know now, since Facebook has gone public, the news has tightened, and we just don't have nearly the exposure. I remember when 10,000 people would see a post of mine on Facebook, and they really would. It wasn't just a fabricated number. So we're all looking for ways to expand our reach and get the message out there. So that is my summary of the 10 commandments of online camera confidence, or any kind of camera confidence, really. If you would like to see some more classes about this, because again, this is what I did for a living, was helping CEOs, nonprofits, corporations, even Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, not Neil Barnard, he was the CEO, still is, and president, and he is as eloquent as they come, but he was very eager to have his staff really get up to speed. So I've got another phone call coming in. I'm going to hop off, but if you'd like to see more of this, let me know, and let me know if you want to have more specific training videos, any comments, things that you would like to see me talk about. And please do like this if you do, and subscribe if you'd like. All right, gotta run.